What's going on, buddy?
Hello there. How you doing?
Oh, I'm Stinky Pete. Good.
Stinky Pete.
Good.
You got the Stinky Pete.
Not the Stinky Feet. Just the Stinky Pete.
All right. All right.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Oh, now look at you centered. Oh, so pretty.
Oh, hello.
Oh, you're youngin'.
I'm youngin'?
Yeah, you're a youngin'.
I'm a youngin'? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're a whole...
When I was your age.
It was Thursday.
Actually, no.
Was
it was Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday was the... Yeah.
I remember what it was like when I was your age. All the people were going to church. And American Idol was on that night. Remember when American Idol used to be on when I was his age?
Oh, Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm, its singular mission was to make you either go broke or have a cardiac arrest.
Oh, definitely the latter for me.
Like the most expensive, terrible for you cookies. And what was with the one? What was that one cookie that was like shaped like? Remember that thing that came? That I think it was confirmed that it did come from. It was an interstellar object of some sort that flew through our solar system last year. I think it was last year or the year before. Yeah. And it was shaped. It was kind of oblong, and it almost looked like a long elongated stone of like sort of flat but like long. Did you not see this? And it had such velocity that there was like legitimate scientific speculation that I guess math does support it. That was like this couldn't naturally happen.
Like it couldn't be going that fast and be in that that shape. Considering
and not
what's
in orbit
going on.
with anything. It's just going through the solar system. Mm. Yeah. And it's not that it happened is not in doubt. Like people, they have there's pictures and everything, right? But the thing and it was like oblong, so it looked like something you would like. Well, it kind of looked like that Pepperidge Farm cookie, the one that had the chocolate down the center
in the middle. Yeah, is that the Milano or the Milan?
You couldn't separate it. It's just this. It's just that.
Yeah.
What a waste of a cookie! Like I don't understand that cookie.
I rather like those cookies, to be honest. I like the...
There were two cookies, maybe three, but really there were only three cookies worth doing anything with in those boxes, those packs. The first and the least important was the one that was just like a square that had like little crystallized sugar on the top.
Okay, yeah.
You know that one? The next was the one that was shaped like a pretzel.
Yeah.
Right? Those were delicious. Also with the crystallized sugar on the top. But the best, by far, the most sought after, I think, was that one that was it was like a little like miniature cannoli shell. It was like hollow. It was just kind of rolled. Yeah. And it was delicate. And it just was delicious and light and wonderful.
I think I remember that one, yeah. Now, I enjoyed the distinctive Bordeaux. It was kind of the. It was really close. Am I allowed to look things up? Yeah, go ahead. In fact,
you keep talking.
Yeah. But the distinctive Bordeaux, if I remember correctly, because it's been a long time since I've been to this, but I think it was kind of like those Bischoff type cookies. There's that kind of I don't know, like a little bit of a spice to it or something like that, if I remember right. I remember the Bordeaux being one that I really liked. And I did like the Milano type cookie, the one with the chocolate through the middle.
Oh, see, we would have got along swimmingly because I would have said, here, you have these.
Yeah, I would eat the ones that you didn't want, and you'd have the square with the thing. Now, I tell you, the Chessman cookies by themselves are very boring.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? You don't remember the Chessman cookies?
No.
They're just the regular old butter cookies, but they're square and have like chess pieces on them.
Oh, the Bordeaux are called caramelized crisps.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty. They're pretty good.
But it's more akin to a biscuit than it is a crisp. I don't understand.
Well, if you're from the UK, it's more of a biscuit. But
yeah.
But the Chessmen make a good sort of alternative to vanilla wafers and banana pudding. Yeah, you seem incredulous a lot this episode.
I'm looking at these things. Apparently, Target sells it, and it's Chessmen butter cookie.
Yeah,
never had
boring
this
by themselves. They're terrible.
Never.
But
I bet it's good to dip into tea or something.
See, that's the thing. You need stuff to elevate it, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going to close this out now because that's not good. Yeah, nothing good is going to come of that.
True.
Internet.
Now I'll tell you where the Pepperidge Farm really tries to take me and kill me is in the refrigerated cakes, the square cakes that they make.
Oh.
Those are so good. Oh, wow. The chocolate one is just amazing.
With like the chocolate icing?
Yeah. And it's like frozen, but kind of like you let it thaw a little bit, but I mean, you still want a little bit. Yeah, that's the thing. You still want a little bit of the iciness to it or whatever, the frozenness.
With the resistance that then you don't eat as much.
Yeah, that's
theory.
what you think.
Because it takes work. Well, because it takes work, I'm exerting energy.
Okay,
if I'm exerting energy,
that, yeah.
I'm burning calories. If I'm burning
it's
calories,
thawed out
neutral.
by the time you come back for your second piece. So it gets easier as you go, which is exactly the wrong way to do it if you're wanting to not eat the whole cake. But and even the coconut cake is very good. You know, it's not.
Never had it.
It's like the two. Those are the only two I think I've ever had. I think there's a version of the chocolate cake that has like a weird like one vanilla layer in the middle, so it's like a stripe through it or whatever. More or less the same. But that and the coconut are the only ones I'm aware of. I think that they have other ones, but I don't know that I've had them. I don't think I have. But I quite literally can eat a whole Pepperidge Farm square frozen section cake.
What about Entenmann's? Entenmann's. Not an enema. Entenmann's.
Intimate enema.
Intimate. I want to get intimate with some Entenmann's.
And what is this?
Sounds
familiar.
They sell it here in Publix. They have it at Publix. They did not have it in California or Colorado, but they do have it. I think they have it.
Ironic, since
maybe they don't have it here. They have Tasty Cake here, but they don't have Tasty Cake. Tasty Cake's not in Colorado either, I don't think. It's certainly not in California, Tasty Cake. Have you had Tasty Cake?
And is this a Pepperidge Farm product? Or
no, it's not. No, we're talking. It's Tasty Cake.
It's Tasty Cake. Tasty Cake is its own thing.
Butterscotch crimpets, and you know where you can buy some Tasty Cakes?
Well, I had the butterscotch crimpets
at the boardwalk at Disney.
Oh yeah,
the boardwalk inn. They send it down the little store there. They have butterscotch crimpets and the peanut butter kinds. Oh, they're so delicious, little peanut butter things.
Well, we did the butterscotch ones for SM.
We did.
Yeah, I like them. They're very good.
They're delicious, right?
Yeah, very.
Wait, did we do it? Mm-hmm. No, we didn't.
We didn't have Tasty Cakes, but we had. Unless that's the brand, isn't it? And the butterscotch crimpet is Now I'm remembering that.
We didn't do that for Starch Madness, though.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
All right, you
we
say
did
that
butterscotch crimpets.
Yes.
Was that like? Did it get knocked out in like round one or something?
I think it went up against like mint Oreos or something, and
that explains it. That makes sense. Yeah, that'll do it. Yep.
You just got a bad draw in the first round. Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
But, So.
But we digress. So yeah, Entenmann's is
always.
Hold on, you haven't come up with a theme song, I guess, right? Entenmann's is a delicious grouping of snack products. They have the frosted donuts. They have crumbed top donuts. They have crumb top. Let's see if I can find. I don't want your cookies. So here's the thing about cookies.
Yeah.
I don't mean Entenmann's cookies. I mean like the cookies, which is ironic considering I'm going there looking for cookies, but I don't want those cookies.
Okay.
Right? So somebody who doesn't know better, imagine the first time you search the internet, you go to the Entenmann's site, and it's like, hey, would you like cookies? And you're like, well, of course. Well, you don't know. What you don't know is that you don't want those cookies. There's not the cookies you were looking for, right? Like crabs, context is really important.
Very important. Yes.
So they sell various snack products. It's called Entenmann apostrophe S.
Okay.
And they have
I've seen this. Yeah.
They have donuts, they have cakes, they have pastries, they have pies, they have muffins, they have cookies, and they have brownies.
Wow. A lot of flour going through that place.
The little chocolate chip cookies
Yeah.
are amazing.
Now, are they as good as Famous Amos little chocolate chip
They're
cookies?
so much better.
Really?
Yeah.
I love me a Famous Amos.
Also on this website, I have the option of chatting with an expert, which I kind of want to do.
Chat with the expert.
That could be a side podcast. Jason chats with the expert.
Right.
Then we just go and we just sit here together and you say, "Oh, ask him this, ask him this."
We can put him in a little window in the bottom corner. His little text coming up.
Yes, it's like the new version of like
Trevor has joined the chat.
It's like the new version of the when you would do the dial. What do you call it? Not
dialing for dollars.
No, not dialing for dollars. Although I do remember that. Like prank call kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be a hoot.
A hoot.
People don't
would
say
it
that
be a
enough.
hoot and Annie? That's the next level.
Is that like somebody who takes care of a young hoot?
Right. Yeah. The hoots. Sometimes you need a hoot and Annie. Sometimes you need. Yeah. Hoot and trainer.
Hoot and holler.
hoot and a holler.
Hoot and a holler.
And a shut my mouth.
Oh. It just got serious. Real serious. Wait. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. But the cookies thing, I don't understand. Like, I get frustrated that I don't want to. Don't give me cookies. I don't know what's the proper way to put it. I don't want their cookies, right?
Yeah.
And so then it gives me accept all, or we're going to run you through an obstacle course of toggle switches that you have to choose, and then they wear you down. You're just like, accept all, just accept all. But I don't. And then I do it and I set it all. And then I realize, then I get mad when I go back to the same site and they ask me again. But then I realize like, what they need is they need the option of like reject all except necessary cookies, whatever those are, and a cookie to remember that you're rejecting all the other cookies.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting because in order for them to remember what your setting is, they would have to use a cookie to do that.
But there's no option for just that cookie. There's no like a remember my preferences
no cookies cookie.
Right, which feels like you're just in a circular. The whole universe will collapse if they do something like that. Like you can't have something that says don't allow something. I can't allow myself to exist.
But the thing is that like that sort of like, hey, do you want a set of cookies so that we can remember that you don't want any cookies? That kind of stuff never works anyway. Like even if I'm buying stuff on iTunes on the Apple TV or whatever, or renting something, it's like put in your password. Would you like us to remember your password so you don't have to put it in as much? And it was like, yes. And I say that every time because they make me put my password in every time. That doesn't work. It's not a thing. It doesn't happen. And yet, like every time the little thing says like, remember your credentials when you log into something, you put the check mark on it. It doesn't remember your credentials. It's a checkbox that isn't connected to anything. It's just there to make you feel better about putting in your password this time because you're like, well, at least I won't have to put it in next time because I got the checkbox. And then it's like, well, put in your password and hey, you don't have to put the password in every time. If you check this little checkbox, we can just remember your credentials next time. And it's like friggin' Lucy with the football.
I know.
And it's like, and that's another thing is signing you out. Like the number of apps that I have that helpfully sign me out.
Disney.
At the worst possible time. Like some of them will keep you in there and you're like, I have been lulled into a false sense of security here. And then when I'm somewhere where I need it fast, it's like blank for a bit, and then it gives you the login code, and then you're like,
oh, with a boarding pass.
Exactly. Really? That's a perfect example.
I've been looking at this the entire time. I made it through TSA. It's all good. It's been fine. And now I get up to the gate. I got to go through triple authentication.
Yeah, and
airport Wi-Fi.
Or like I drop my phone and then I bend down and my backpack comes off and I'm at the front of the line where I'm supposed to be scanning my boarding pass and I'm already like kind of flustered. And I pick it up and I open it up and I open the app and the app says, "Hey, how are you liking the app so far? You want to give us a star rating?" And I'm like, 1 star.
Oh my goodness.
Not now, dude. Like, do not give me any. You can tell I'm in an airport. Don't bother me with crap like that when I'm in the airport. When I'm booking the flight, when I'm trying to figure out when I'm supposed to be at the thing tomorrow, then you can talk to me about rating your app all day long if you want. When I'm in an airport, you shut up about everything that ain't about my flight. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I've had that. I do add it to my wallet now, and I
that's what I do
usually.
now, yeah.
But and it's always funny how bright it gets.
Yeah.
When you go to that, because it's like
scan,
like full on brightness. But the problem is it doesn't know the difference between you're just checking to make sure it's there, like
right,
yeah, like you're still there. And oh no, I'm about to use it.
Yeah, they're like, "Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we doing it now?" No, God, no, sunglasses.
The Disney app tickets. If you go to pull up your tickets or pass holder information, it does the same thing. It's like real bright. It's like, hey, how about you use your? Remember how we agreed that it would be okay if you tracked where I was in space and time?
Yeah.
I mean, how about you use that to decide when to make me blind?
I went through all the trouble to let you use location services, and
how about
you're
you
not
wait till
using
like
it.
You know how you can see my face with this phone? How about you wait till it's pointed away from me?
There you go. And
then get real bright.
You just, it doesn't even have to recognize me. It just has to recognize the fact that it's not being scanned right now. That's all it has to do.
Right. Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They call them smartphones, apparently.
They're ish. It should be an ish at the end of it. Smartphone, smart-ish.
Hey, they're clever phones. They're clever. And, they're okay.
Clever phones.
They're kind of sharp.
I used to say, look, in 10 years, they'll have this stuff figured out. It'll be fine. Mm-hmm. I don't think so anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of things actually connecting behind the scenes and interfacing and the stuff just working, remembering your information. I don't know. I'm losing hope.
I think, like I said, I think a lot of it is just not connected to anything. It's just the thing that they get you to do so you feel better. Mm-hmm. But
no one's incentivized for that to work better.
That's true.
Like no one's making a quarterly bonus off of that. They don't even ask about that in surveys. Like Disney, for example, has never once ever in all the surveys I've done, it's asked about the app. Did you use the app? Did you like the app? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It never asks anything about, did we make you log in too frequently?
Right. Yeah.
No. So clearly no one's being rewarded for the work in that regard. So no one's going to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the comment section or whatever, but I don't know that they read that because it's not
like
quantifiable.
The checkbox itself.
Yeah.
It's the checkbox itself. No,
right.
No one's reading that.
Yeah, because you can't plot that on a graph.
No one reads it. I mean, maybe there's a bot that reads it and makes a nice little word cloud or something.
Yeah. Log in. But
yeah. So how was your experience to the giant crack?
Ah, yes, the enormous crack. For those who do not know, I was in the Grand Canyon this past weekend. I flew over on Friday into Flagstaff, Arizona. Okay. Stayed in the Grand Canyon Plaza Hotel in Tucson, Arizona. That's like real close to the canyon. Got up at like 3. Went into the canyon about 4. and saw a beautiful sunrise in the canyon, and it was very nice, very lovely. And then I got to the part where it's at the bottom, where the Colorado River is.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking.
That was nice. That was nice. And then
what was the name of the hotel again?
Do what?
What was the name of the hotel?
Grand Canyon Plaza Hotel, I think. Decently. It was a good hotel.
It's right next to the Foodie Club.
It is next to the Foodie Club, and it is next to a rather hilariously named pizza place called We Cook Pizza. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It was a very interesting place.
It's a lot of letters to use. Like you just call it pizza.
Yeah, I mean, and that is certainly the biggest name, the biggest word on the sign. But it was hilarious that the name of the place was We Cook. The full name of the place is We Cook Pizza and Pasta, which I thought was kind of interesting that you've titled the place sort of your mission statement.
But wait, there's a Pizza Hut Express there.
Yeah, it's in a different place though. It's across the street, I think. Yeah.
And then there's something that looks like a giant set of lips.
Like from the air? I don't know.
Yeah, from the air it looks like a giant set of lips. Like
could be a giant set of lips. The area around the Grand Canyon is a very interesting area.
Yeah. So you were close, and you went into the canyon at 3 a.m.
Well, wait. I got up at 3, and we hit the rim of the canyon at 4.
Where did you enter?
We entered on South Kaibab Trail.
Okay.
And then we took that down to the bottom, and then we followed the river trail along the bottom until we got to Bright Angel Trail, and that's the one we took up. And if anyone,
I see it, Bright Angel Campground. Yeah.
If anybody is planning on doing a rim to river hike, don't go in that order. Go in the other order.
Okay.
Do Bright Angel first, do Bright Angel down, and South Kaibab up. The Bright Angel Trail is some of the steepest crap I have ever been on. Yeah? It was terrible. That part of it was...
there's a little footbridge that crossed though there.
Woof. Yeah, there's 2 of them actually. There's 2 suspension bridges across Colorado, the Colorado, and I actually got some 360 on one of those suspension bridges. The
God
Bright
bless
Angel
you.
one. The Bright Angel one looked a little cooler than the South Kaibab one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at right now. Bright Angel Trail. Wow.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah,
this was done 9 years ago, so yours is going to be newer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This picture is 9 years old. I'm 9 years old.
9 years old.
So yeah, it's beautiful. What was the highlight?
The highlight was definitely sunrise. Like the first.
And you were in the canyon during sunrise.
I was about a mile, maybe 2 down the canyon when sunrise was really getting going good, and so there was a lot of cool vista areas that you could stand at and see into the canyon, and when the sun was coming up over the east there, and it was really, really beautiful.
It's one of those places, and I've only been one time to the Grand Canyon. It's one of those places that you can look at the pictures. Mm-hmm. You cannot appreciate the scale of anything until you're there. You just can't.
And one of the things that some of the group and I were talking about later on was the fact that whole area is like the most popular area, the South Kaibab and Bright Angel area is like really popular, and it had a decent amount of people on it, after the day got going real good.
Sure.
But it's like maybe a 10th of the entire Grand Canyon. There are so many areas of this place that don't even get visited very much, that are just as beautiful. Mm-hmm. So it is like you say,
it's all about infrastructure too, in terms of how much road you have leading into it, and how far off
how much
main
water
trail you have
gets
to go.
down there. Yeah, that's the big part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing. Cool. It is really, really amazing place.
Was that your first time?
excuse me, I had been to the Grand Canyon with my stepfather before just to see it on one of our road trip things. But I had never been down in it. And then I did the Havasu Pai hike a few years ago. Havasu Pai, yeah. Havasu Pai. And it's kind of a side canyon to the Grand Canyon, and it's in the Havasu Indian Reservation. So it's kind of a different deal. And then camped down in there a couple nights and then came back out. But this is the first time hiking into Grand Canyon proper for me. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very, very cool.
And what was the scariest moment?
The scariest moment, I think, was when I was hiking right behind a group of 6 very loud Russian women talking to one another very loudly and very animatedly, and I have no idea about what, but they did not stop. And this was on the steep part of Bright Angel, so I was like, wow, the fact that you guys are so well conditioned,
they were going
you
up?
can yammer, yeah,
wow,
in Russian this whole time. That's impressive. I'm over here dying.
Frightened because of I was going to say, were you frightened because like, oh, I'm really in bad shape apparently?
Yeah, I'm hearing Russian. I heard so many different like foreign languages on the trail. It was amazing, and I met a really cool guy from London. He was really, really cool.
Oh yeah, they have one.
Yeah, they had one dude. And he was over here at the time, so there was nobody there.
No one left.
While this guy was over here.
They have a little ticker system at the airport. It's like it goes from 1 to 0.
So is the guy
and
here?
then after a few weeks, it comes back to 1 again.
Yeah. And it just says the bloke under there. But yeah, he was really cool. So that was neat.
Wow.
But
interesting.
I didn't see anybody, get hurt or anything, so that was good.
That's good.
I myself did not get hurt, so that also was good.
Oh, props for that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
When you go into the Grand Canyon gift shop, the first thing you see is a big stack of books called Death in the Canyon. And it's all about the people who die in the Grand Canyon, because apparently there's quite a few every year. Just doing dumb stuff like trying to get a selfie on the edge of a cliff and then falling off and junk like that. So, yeah.
They should have a book called How Not to Die in the Canyon.
I think that's what all the signs are about. Those are the pages of that book.
Okay,
Chapter 1. Stay on the trail, you dingus. But,
oh, well, good stuff, man.
Yeah,
I'm glad. It was a fast
good.
trip. I mean, you went out, you left Friday, and you were back.
Yeah, kind of a
Monday.
Yeah. Well, I came back on Sunday actually.
Sunday.
Flew out to Flagstaff on Friday, hiked Sunday, and then flew out Sunday morning. Hiked Saturday, excuse me. Flew out Sunday morning back.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That's real fast.
Yeah. Well,
you don't feel exhausted?
Oh, I did, certainly. Like, this being Wednesday, I've almost recovered.
Okay.
But it took a couple of days, yeah. Soreness moved around in my body for a little while. It was like all of the stuff that got used the most had their time to be sore. And then all the stuff that had been kind of waiting their turn because they didn't get used as much, but they got used enough to get sore. They showed up after that. So
like, we're here. We're still here. We're still here.
It's like, all right, so the hip
Just
flexors are done now? Okay, well, welcome to your calves.
Oh my gosh. You had an experience on the airplane I'd like to hear more about, though.
Yeah, the guy, yeah. And this is something that I firmly believe in. And it is one of it's an extension, I believe, of the old adage that good fences make good neighbors. Mm-hmm. And when I sit down, if I'm the first on the row, I make sure that all of the armrests are down, because that keeps everybody in their corral. and that's where they're supposed to be. Now, for whatever reason, American does this. I think we've talked about this. How like they take the three broadest people and they put them all in the same row,
right.
and this certainly happened with this, and this guy was broad.
Where were you positioned?
Okay, I am on the aisle.
Okay,
seat. I am, and I'm the first one in there because I'm all gold level group 4 or whatever, and I'm like, well, I'm waiting to see. Let's spin the lottery wheel and see who I get. And then this guy comes in and he sits down first, and he's in the middle seat. And I get up and I let him in, and he sits down.
Was Emily with you?
No, she went to visit her parents in Jackson.
So you were solo?
Yeah, I was flying solo.
You did this by yourself?
I did. Well, I mean, I had friends that were there, and we hiked together, but I flew out there solo and back.
Yeah. You fly by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You fly by yourself.
I know. But I'm an anomaly. My mom tells me all the time.
Yeah. Well, I just have my airplane ticket pinned to my shirt, and they show me where I'm supposed to go.
You too, huh? A little ribbon. Yes.
And a thing that says "Do not pet."
That's right. Do not feed.
Unaccompanied person. I guess. Unaccompanied major, I guess. But
that sounds like college.
More of a major 7th, really. I'm a little more jazzy than that. But yeah, so we're sitting there, and he got in, and the armrest is still down between us. But the window seat is still empty. We still have not, mystery guest sign in, please. Mm-hmm. And so finally, that person shows up, and they aren't.
He sat in the middle?
He's sitting in the middle, yeah. So the middle guy showed up first, which is kind of weird. But
and he was not holding the spot for the window person?
Nope. No.
He chose the middle.
Well, this is American. We have assigned seats. I know you're all about some Southwest.
Right, I'm thinking, no, I don't fly across the country in Southwest. That's what I was, okay, so, but this person still chose, okay, all right. But I guess it's a full plane.
Yeah, it was. And the weird thing is we found out later on that the guy in the window seat got it on standby. So I don't know why this guy's in the middle,
This guy's a loser.
Weird. I don't know.
I'm sorry, but do you have to pay extra for a window? Maybe American makes you pay extra.
Not in that row.
You have to pay extra.
I think all of that row was a green row, which is kind of like a slight step up from the blue rows.
Fascinating.
But I get them for free because I'm gold status because I'm the man. But so when he gets here, I get up, and to get up, this guy has to raise the armrest, and so he gets up.
He didn't really have to raise the armrest.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he feels like he has to, and then he gets out.
That was his move.
Then the window guy gets in. He comes in and gets in and does not put back down the armrest. And then I get in, and I don't know it yet. I don't notice it until I'm already sitting down, and I go, "Oh, he's put the freaking armrest up." And so now I'm on a weird little park bench with this guy rather than 2 airlane seats.
So it's all the way up. It's not like partially up. It's all the way full.
No, it's up. Stowed all the way back. It's as though it doesn't exist. And I was like, great. And I was thinking, like, I now have to wait until he wants to put his seat or go to the bathroom, certainly. But if he wants to put his seat back, his button is on that armrest. If he wants to do that, then he'll have to pull the armrest down in order to do that. And he doesn't do that through the entire flight. Yeah. He doesn't budge.
I don't recline either. I don't recline.
Yeah, I don't either. But I was like hoping, this guy's a big guy. So like big in many dimensions. And so I was like, maybe he's going to need to. And so I was kind of hoping that he would, but he. So
are you guys? Without the armrest, there's got to be slippage, right? There's got to be
exactly right. There's encroachment,
a little migration that happens.
Right. He's encroaching on my easement.
Like at some point, you're touching each other.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thighs,
and not on the shoulder.
Thighs are
thigh touching,
pushed
right?
together. Yes.
Yeah. Little butt,
And
little
and you're
buttocks,
getting
edge of the buttocks.
And you're getting that interpersonal. It's hard to say what the emotion is, but it's kind of not creepy, but just kind of like this unsettling heat that's coming from that guy.
Al Pacino stars in Unsettling
Heat. Yes, absolutely.
So wait.
Show title.
But have you noticed in those situations where what begins as this kind of like, you don't even want to acknowledge each other's existence and please don't touch me ever. Don't even, right?
Right, yeah.
By the end of the flight, especially if it's across the country, by the end of the flight, you're like perfectly fine.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
We're cheek buddies at this point. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. I get it, but I want that armrest. really
right.
do, because I also use that. Like, right? Yeah, I don't like put my arm on the top of it because that's being a jerk, right? It was like, it's mine. You don't get one. But what I do is I'll like kind of let my arms expand kind of to where it's pushing against the inside of it. And I feel like I can rest like that.
Where do you put your right? What do you do with your arm? That's a dead arm. What do you do with that arm now?
You just put it on the regular
Where do you put
armrest.
it?
I usually put it on it just like the elbow.
But if it's up,
basically.
where do you put it?
Like with the thing up. I just kind of
Napoleon. You're like tucking it in your shirt or something.
Yeah,
Can I get a sling over here, please?
It's a very weird kind of like I folded my arms a lot. Like that's about the only thing.
Like pouty.
Yeah, kind of, and I'll do that if I'm sleeping anyway. For whatever reason, that feels better to try to sleep in the seated position.
You don't want your arm falling and waking you. Right. You don't want that startle effect.
And also, like if I'm asleep with my arm on the outside armrest, like on the aisle, that drink cart's going to nail me every time.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't matter if the drink cart just came by. They're going to suddenly or
they butt swipe you, like they come by and they're like
I was thinking about that this flight.
Can you not just please?
I got more like flight attendant butts,
butt shouldered, right? It's like
jammed into my shoulder or my elbow on this flight, and probably it's a regular amount. I just kind of weirdly noticed it this time. I was like, you know what? I have had a lot of flight attendant butts pressed against me and like.
It's not in a good way
me.
either. It's not like you're like, oh, I think she may. Yeah, no, it's like it's
shoulder. Like, what are you gonna do with the shoulder? Like,
did you forget I'm here?
Yeah, and it's weird. And then the like to the point where they move you a little bit. It's like whoosh, and you kind of like get jostled.
Not emotionally.
And it's like and I guess they just don't notice it anymore because they didn't act like they had done anything.
I think their butts are numb.
Thinking I almost like coconutted against this guy's skull, but no, they're just going on doing their thing. All right,
they have to. I mean, they
I guess
they can't deal with that sort of. So I have two thoughts right now about this situation.
Okay.
First thought is that this may be his move. Now, I don't know why it's his move. I don't know what the end goal is. I don't know if the end goal is to like be closer to Marcus. I don't know if the end goal is to just have, maybe if he's a big guy, he just doesn't like to be cramped by the armrest, and this is his way of not being confined or something, possibly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that he doesn't like the armrest for whatever reason.
Right. Did you notice whether the one on the other side of him was up still?
That I put them both down because I didn't want to be like, I'm the guy that put the thing down, right? I want them. These were all down from the beginning, And
but
see, I don't know. Like when he got back down, and it wasn't. He was big enough that if I was going to look and see what the status,
he never got back up the entire.
Never got back up the whole time.
Wow! Oh God, got it. I mean, you got to commend him for that.
Yeah.
Don't you love that when you have a seatmate who doesn't ever need to get up?
Oh yes,
and you're absolutely. In the aisle. I mean, I mean, God bless him.
Oh, on the subject of butt mushing, in a similar situation, but it's passengers that do this, and I don't know how they can conscionably do this. but it happens almost every flight, is the guy behind me will be inching into his seat, and he will use the back of my seat to pull as an arm steadying thing
to lower himself in.
Right, and it yanks me back every time, and it's like I would never do that. I would never want to completely grab somebody's chair and shake them rigorously just because I needed an easier descent into my seat.
Right, they're falling and they grab one. It's understandable.
Yeah, but that's not what's going on. They're just
they lower
going
themselves
through. Yeah, no, but you can let gravity do that. That's okay.
They'll hurt themselves.
They have the armrests. They have the thing. There's so many reasons. Not. There's so many ways that they can lower themselves into that seat that don't involve yanking me a foot backwards. That's all I'm saying. Be mindful that there's somebody sitting in that thing that you're yanking and using around and stuff.
It could so be his move. It kind of makes sense, Marcus, because why else pick the middle seat, right? Like maybe his whole move is I actually by having the armrests up, I actually get more seat than I would otherwise in a middle row, like in the middle seat of a row. Yeah. And so the armrest up, yes, I'm encroaching on these guys, but I don't care because now I'm not squinched in. Maybe that's his move.
It could be. I mean, he seemed like a rather pleasant guy, other than that.
Why didn't you ask, can you mind if I put this back down?
I don't know. It just seems like it seems like a rebuke if I do that, It seems like, hey, can I put this thing between you and me because good Lord.
Well, he's not using it, so now you can use it.
Well, I guess, but
hey, do you mind if you're not, do you mind if I put this down so I can I mean, I say that now. I don't know whether I would do that in person.
You're talking big, but that's
yeah, I know. How many coffees I've had at this point, and then I think the more likely Jason move would be where's my button, and I would pull it down.
I tried
trying to push my button, like oh wait, that's your button. Sorry, that's your button.
Right, I was hoping that's where my button was, so I'd be able to do that, but it wasn't.
You just have to pretend like you didn't know any better. You have
I guess that's true.
Where did I plug these headphones in?
I don't know. The buttons are pretty prominent. It would be. I don't know if I'd be able to pull that off. Where's the button? You made that giant button right next to you. That's obvious.
Yeah, I don't think I could do this. I don't think I could sit like this, like with my arms all crossed and all cramped.
Wasn't a lot of
fun.
For
how many hours? 5 hours? 4 hours? 4 hours probably.
Well, it wasn't too bad. It was like 2.5 hours because it was just from Dallas-Fort Worth to here.
Okay, 2 hours.
Because we went from Flag to Dallas-Fort Worth and then Dallas-Fort Worth to here. And so that chopped it up pretty well.
That's why I don't fly American.
Right?
Never.
People
anymore. No, I don't like going through Dallas. You either go through Dallas or you go through Phoenix.
I would much rather go through Dallas than go through Atlanta.
No, I'm fine. It's Delta through Atlanta's fine.
Oh, I hate Atlanta so much. The airport. Town's okay.
No, right. Yeah. I've been to the airport a lot more than I've been to the town.
Yeah, but that's me with Dallas for sure. I am intimately familiar with Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. But, and I remember when it was just 2 concourses. Now it's 6.
Dallas or Atlanta?
DFW.
Dallas. Yeah. You had another observation.
Oh yeah,
which I thought was great. Yeah. You wrote me and you said, it's 2022. Why does anyone still need to talk to the lady with the connecting flight information sign?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do the announcement. They don't do the announcement anymore, right? Remember they would come on the announcement in the past. They would come on the intercom before the plane lands, and they would give out this long list of connecting flight in the gates, right? They don't do that anymore.
Thank God.
They stopped. I don't know when they stopped that, but they just kind of cold turkey stopped it. There was no warning.
I think
they just stopped.
It just became especially with Dallas-Fort Worth, you're not going to make a dent in the number of planes that are going to leave in the next hour. But
it was all the connecting flights on their plane, right? They knew they had a list of all the people who needed to connect, especially if it was running late. I think that's what they would do. If the flight was running late, they would kind of help people out by telling them this is your gate you're going to. So that way it keeps them from having to stop and ask, like, hey, do you know where I'm supposed to be going?
Yeah, I guess. And in this case, it was kind of funny because we got into our gate and then Gomer was trying to drive the jetway out to the thing and apparently crashed it or something because it completely shut down and broke. And so there's this about 8-foot gap between us and the jetway, and we can't get off of the plane. And so they had to tow us to a whole different. Because they've already stopped the plane and binged the Bing, and everybody is up and getting their stuff. Oh, and then they're like, well, actually, the jetway blew up, and we now have to get everybody back in their seats, all their stuff stowed again. Is this
in Dallas?
This is in Dallas.
This is why I don't like Dallas.
And put the seatbelts on, and then we have to be towed over to another gate. And so, yeah, there was this one guy in the back that was like, once we did finally get to where we were supposed to be, he was coming through and going, I'm sorry, connecting flight, I'm sorry. And so I was like, yeah, I feel for you, dude. Everybody has been there before. And so they all got out of the way for him. So that was cool. But yeah, so like that makes me a little late. I mean, I try to have a good 2 hours of connection time if at all possible. So I'm down to about the flight itself being a little late, and then
you aim for at least 2 hours of connecting time, and I'm I'm like, I want 65 minutes at the most. Like I don't like anything less than 40 or more. I want than 65.
Breathing room. I want room for crap to happen, and still be able to make it, and not have to like O.J. Simpson through the entire airport. Because I will invariably, especially in DFW, I will invariably come in like Concourse A and be leaving out of like Concourse R or something, and I have to get on the friggin' Skylink and then, and it's not in the correct order. To go from A to B, you have to go through C. What is that about?
Dallas Fort Worth.
This doesn't make any sense. So anyway, but yeah, so the people, I'm coming off of the plane. I'm about, midway through the plane. So half of the plane in front of me is already off the plane. And it's double problem because number one, in their infinite wisdom, American Airlines has put the lady with the little sign that says connecting flight info in the path of the people coming off, like to the side of the path. But it invites goofy doofus travelers to stop right in front of her and then create this human cholesterol blockage that like gets bigger and bigger and bigger with all the other people trying to get their connecting flight information. And now I've got this massive wad of humanity that I can't get around because they're trying to all talk to the lady with the iPad. And it's like, every one of you has a smartphone in your pocket. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Why are you talking to her? She doesn't have any information you don't already have.
But maybe she does. Because maybe they don't know how to find it.
Well, that's what you do sad. Before you get on the plane. You learn how to do that.
Yes, I know, but these are the same people who are lowering themselves into their seats using your seat.
Yes, they should have springs on them. You bring them up and they go twang back down.
I'm just telling. How did your butt feel?
It was, like I said, it was split up pretty evenly. Yeah. It didn't have enough time to get plain butt. But I get plain butt definitely on flights. Like if it's 4 hours or more, I'm hurting.
2 hours into any flight, I'm getting plain butt, and I don't care whether I'm in first class or reverse class or whatever. Like I think
it's the plane itself, like the vibrations or something of it that causes it to happen. Because it does.
I can sit in this seat.
But I mean, it doesn't matter where you sit or what you sit on. It's gonna happen.
It's because it's a pretty.
I've tried putting those blankets under there, and that doesn't help.
That just makes you hot butt.
Yeah,
you got sweaty butt. And I just, It is,
and it's like
sometimes
nowhere else.
they're so bad. You sit in the seat immediately. As soon as you sit in the seat, you know, like, oh no,
Here we
this
go.
is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I got 2 life jackets under this damn thing.
I don't know what I can do to not. I'm Google searching. Why does my, what hurt?
Get rid of plane
I'm
butt.
on the plane. Yes, I'm literally Google searching it as I'm on the plane.
Sitting on those metal bleachers at a baseball game doesn't feel the way that plane butt can feel.
I sat on the concrete for 2.5 hours waiting for Disneyland Forever fireworks to start, right? Mm-hmm. My butt didn't hurt nearly as much as it does when I'm on these airplanes.
Man.
And Sky Mall could have made a fortune off of some solution for this. Can you imagine, you pull out the Sky Mall magazine and it's like, hey, does your butt hurt? Yes, it does.
We got the perfect thing for it.
What if they're like, you can use this magazine?
It's got gel and memory foam in it, and we have them on this plane, and they're $300. And
dude, I would buy
it. You would pay it. Yes, you would.
Yes.
Especially if you're going overseas or something. You're like, oh, yes, please.
Oh, yes. Or my seat in my car has it's fancy, and it has the seat heating ability, right? Which you almost never use in Florida, but it has the venting thing too. It has a fan system that will blow cool. I think it's just the ambient air, but it's nice. It gives a nice little cooling feeling.
Yeah, that's cool.
Why can't that happen?
Oh man, hear that?
Right?
Yeah.
Also, both flights. I was on, let's see, the first flight out to California was a connecting flight through Salt Lake City. And I can't remember, I was on the flight to Salt Lake City, I think. And then I had a nonstop from LAX back to Orlando, which is a blessing. But on those 2 flights, I'm on the aisle for all of these flights, of course. And on those 2 flights, my tray thing, comes, had this, it leaned to this, one side, and kind of leaned down.
Yeah. That happens a lot to me for some reason.
What am why? What happened here? And I looked over to the other person, oh no, they're fine.
Yeah.
Theirs is fine.
And what you look at it.
I'm thinking people are using it to get out or something. It's the aisle one, and so they're pushing down on it or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
But that's the weird thing. Whenever that happens to me, I look and try to find where the damage is or whatever, and it looks okay. It's just it wasn't put in right. The guy that installed it didn't use a level or something.
I think weird. It's almost like somebody pushes down, they got over time, people using it to. I don't know
how you could go past it with it down, though. That's weird.
That's true. I don't have an explanation for that.
Yeah, kind of weird. But yeah,
it's just annoying because you can't put the laptop. When you put the laptop on there, I ended up with 2 inches below it.
Yeah, and everything you're looking at is cocked a little bit to the side. You get 2 decks of cards to put under that side of the laptop.
Can I get a little wedge, please?
You got some shims.
Not a wedge of lemon. I need a wedge.
Yeah. Bring me about 5 of them Bischoff cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez.
And then I asked for hot water because I like to bring my own tea bags, and so I like to but I always feel guilty. I feel like they're looking at me saying, why didn't you ask me for tea?
Yeah. What, our tea bags aren't good enough for you?
Yeah, that's what I think they're thinking. You're okay, whatever.
It's a way you don't have Darjeeling, so.
Well, they don't.
It's true, they don't.
I think I was drinking the chai. Chai 5. Chai 5.
Chai 5.
Yeah. Chai 5. It's good stuff.
Yeah, Chai 5. That sounds like a
jazz band.
Yeah, that's going to
the Chai 5. Yeah, now I think
Brubeck's,
organic.
Brubeck's band, right?
Chai 5. Yes, exactly. That's the one. And I know we're working on these backwards, and that's fine because people don't listen forwards anyway.
No, listen to it in reverse.
So I don't know if this happens to you, but for me, nearly every time I leave for the airport, whether I'm with the family or just me, I get about 10 minutes from the house. No, like the 10 minutes leading up to leaving, and even like the 10 hours leading up to leaving. It's like almost like a military operation in terms of like, I have this and I need this and I want this and I have this and I had this and this is going here and I'm putting this here so I remember to take this and this is going to go over here so I remember this and this and this and this. All these things.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Great Muppet Caper. Grappling hook, check.
right. And then, okay, got it. Yeah, check the pockets, both of the things. Yes, okay, good. Out the door. 10 minutes in. Not even quite I'm not on to 429 yet. I'm like still on 535. And I get this panicked feeling like, what did I forget? What is it? Did I do it? And
so
if it's
bad.
the whole family, it's really bad because then I'm thinking, did I shut the garage door?
Yeah.
I had such a I don't know, it's not a phobia, but just such anxiety about whether I shut the garage door when we would leave, like for family trips back in California, that I had one of those web-based systems installed so that I could look on the app.
Yeah.
I could control it. I could open it and shut it from the app. But most importantly, I could see it. And even that wasn't good enough. I ended up putting a camera in the garage to further confirm
both of those things.
that the garage was shut. Because the app would tell me it's shut. I'm like, I don't believe you.
Yeah. How do I know? It's not just something's in that position, but the door itself isn't down.
Right. So then I put a camera out there. I haven't done that here because we never go anywywhere, really. Or so,
Yeah,
it
ends up kind of being silly.
We're just always here, right? But it's a problem anyway. So but if I'm going by myself somewhere, I still have those moments where I think, I mean, I do this just today and yesterday, 2 days in a row. I left the house, and at the first red light, I had to check my Nest app to make sure that I locked the front door. Well, I don't know why.
Well,
But what I do know, and I know people at home are saying, well, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't worry about it. That's not true. I would turn around and I would come home.
If you didn't have it,
check.
you would get it because you're still worried about it. And you don't have a way to check.
When I was a kid, I would almost get to my friend's house and bike all the way back because I thought that I forgot to lock the doors.
Okay, when I was a kid, I don't think I was that worried about that stuff.
As a kid, this
I am
runs
now,
deep.
but-
This runs deep. So, anyway, this didn't happen on this most recent trip, but there was a time. I think it was California. This has actually happened a handful of times, not more than a handful of times, but it's happened a handful of times. But the striking one that jumps out at me is I was on my way to, it was like a local conference that we were doing, and someone was with me who came from out of town to attend this, and they had stayed at our place, and so we're leaving together to drive to this thing. And in my car, and we're going down the interstate, and this is in like Dublin, California, so we're going down 580, and I panic, like, I forgot my phone. Marcus, I was using my phone for navigation.
Yeah.
Fortunately, all of these, this is all in my head. The only thing that wasn't in my head was when I was like, oh. And then she's like, what? I was like, oh, it's good. It's fine.
Don't worry. I was just a moron for a second.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's a friend who I could totally say. Like,
okay.
But, yeah,
cool.
I can't. I just don't understand. I've now I like stock my bag full of all the things I have here. This is my like work bag thing. Right, I take this everywhere, and I'm going to just reach in. All right, I'm just reaching in the main pocket. This is the pocket that also has my passport.
Yeah.
And it has, what else is in here? Okay, So in this, I'm just grabbing all the stuff.
Okay.
God, I hope it's not embarrassing. Okay. I'm grabbing. This is fun. We should do this as a thing.
Yeah, I'm going to get mine. Hang on a sec.
Like, yes, he's getting it. I'm just reaching into one pocket. This is all the stuff. God, and I have to show everything now.
If this doesn't drive you to YouTube, I don't know what will.
All right, I'm putting everything on. So this is just one pocket. I've got 3 other pockets in this area here.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. No, this is embarrassing. Okay. That thing I said was in the one pocket. The only thing in that one pocket is Splenda.
That's a lot of Splenda.
It's a lot of Splenda.
That's how much Splenda you travel with?
Oh wait, hold on. Splenda.
That's about a cup and a half of Splenda right there.
Splenda and a token of some sort. Oh, and a Blistex. I didn't even know I had this Blistex. I don't think I can take this through.
So I do the Carmex.
And a Lonnie room key.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait a second. It says Jason on it. Why would it say
Whose
Jason?
room key were you supposed to have?
I just don't think I've ever seen them put names on the room keys before. Let's go way back to our first trip or something. All right, so I'm going to put this. All right, I'm putting this back in this. Oh, put it in the right pocket. Put it in the right pocket. Oh no! Hold on.
What did you do?
I'm just
screw up your system.
But I need to find out what this token is. What is this? It has like a little Model T Ford kind of thing on it, and it says 2021. Oh, it's from the Stanley Hotel.
What did you do with the token? Is it just a challenge coin kind of token that you get? Well,
I think you get it. I think you can get your refund for parking or something if you get this back or so, or you can use it in the gift shop or something.
But everybody probably keeps the token.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so in that one pocket, what do you have?
All right, so
you want to go first? You want me
the nerve center of my whole bag system is my gridded board that has all of my charging cables and
just showing off.
Yeah, this is when I discovered this, and this is going to go in the store. We're actually starting an area of the store that has all the crap that we talk about on here. So I'll
that's ridiculous.
send you that stuff. But yeah, see, and like you were saying, like you worry that you lose or you left something at the house. So I bought a thing, like I've got a watch charger here.
Yeah, I got that too.
I've got the watch charger. Nice. I've got
this. I got this little like orange sleevey thing.
2 lightning cables. Let's see right here. Two lightning cables. One for the phone. One for the iPad. All of the plugins that you could want. I got an Ethernet cable. I've got mini USB or micro USB and USB 3. Cables on here for those things, and then I've got my Roku stick and its charging cable down here, and that's for
the Grand Canyon.
Well, for any time I'm getting on any plane going anywhere, you know.
See, mine is just like this little rat's nest of like stuff.
See,
I mean, I do have decent cable management.
And there's some, you've got some.
What's embarrassing is this
Ziploc, or what you call it.
What's embarrassing is that I have 2 different like adapters for video. I've got a VGA.
You got a VGA? What are you going to use that for?
Dude, you'd be surprised.
You might travel back in time to 1996.
You would be surprised how often I have to. Somebody's like, "Does anybody have?" Like, yes.
Yeah, I've got the.
And then I have one that's HDMI and some other stuff.
I got the.
Yeah, but that's not what I wanted to show you.
HDMIs and Ethernet.
Hold on, let me zip this back up.
SD cards.
The thing I wanted to show you is this front pocket that has this array of things. Now, most importantly, it has my passport, and also in here is my COVID vaccination card.
Yeah, good place. That's where mine is too, is in my passport wallet.
Next up would be my assortment of teas. Now, these aren't all the teas I carry. These are just all the teas in that pocket.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Which would be a chai 5, a pure peppermint, and then 2 decaffeinated English breakfast. Notice that they're all decaf. These are all decaf.
Yeah, which is, I think, interesting.
Okay. The next thing is, put that over here. This may surprise you.
Probably won't.
More Splenda.
You can make a cake with that much Splenda.
Well, this doesn't count how much Splenda's in my suitcase that I use, that I might carry on. I've got a whole pocket of Splenda. It's like, if we're ever like on a Survivor type of thing, you know, and you're just stuck with your one bag, and if they need Splenda, I'm their guy.
Yeah, Splenda's going to become like the currency.
Oh yeah. I've got lots of like alcohol pads.
Oh yeah. I got some of those too.
Yeah. Which are important. I got a checkbook.
No, that's one thing I don't actually travel with is a checkbook.
You know what's interesting though is this checkbook, the address on these checks, because Michelle insisted on buying like the bulk amount because it was such a good deal. These checks go back like 3 houses ago.
Oh wow!
To the address. Oh yeah, this is back in Maryland. These people, they still take them.
Well, I mean, it's got the right account information on it.
Oh yes, the account's been the same for 22 years. Yeah. I have one singular Ghirardelli peppermint bark, dark chocolate peppermint bark.
Okay.
Thing, which is lovely. We've had that as part of our
absolutely. Yeah. It did well. Too.
I got my little business card thingies.
Okay, cool.
Which I always forget that I have this.
I forget that I have mine too.
For some reason, I keep this room key from the hotel in Bellingham where Alex and I stayed before we started college.
Oh,
like, I don't know. Like I don't think
sentiment. That's cool.
Yeah,
I got some of those.
And then last but certainly not least, I have 2 challenge coins.
Oh, cool.
That I carry around.
From where?
Well, one is kind of silly. It's the momentum one. And the other real one is, this is really cool.
No offense, Lou. Momentum's real.
Well, because challenge coins are really, I mean, they're supposed
to prove that you've been to the thing or whatever.
I shouldn't. Yeah, I shouldn't denigrate it. It actually, these it's quite lovely. I carry it around with me. So
so clearly there's some reference there. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's not like I'm like not trying to denigrate. It means something to me. I carry it in my bag everywhere I go. So there's that. Okay.
And you have to tell me when Lou angrily sends you an email going, "Hey, what are you?" He
doesn't even know this. He doesn't even know this podcast exists.
No,
so
but somebody that listens to the podcast is friends with him, and they'll tell him. Becky listens. She'll tell him.
Becky doesn't listen. She knows she has more important things to do with her life.
Nope.
If she I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I love you, Lou, and I forgot. And I love that. I carry this around everywhere. So there's that.
Remember, Lou, between us, I'm your real friend.
Right next to my Splenda. Yeah, but who doesn't have a momentum challenge coin?
Me.
Exactly. Okay.
I have no momentum. I am at rest.
Cool. This is one.
What is that?
This is it's a challenge coin. I just told you.
Well, yes, I know, but I mean, from where?
It's from San Luis Obispo. It's the San Luis Obispo Sheriff's Department, and it's their police canine unit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, like, you did something with them through your company, or
through the veterinary? Yeah, the hospital. They had a police canine that had a lot of work needed done, and we took care of them.
Awesome.
So we got a little challenge.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
they did pay you too, right? I mean,
they paid us. Yeah, they paid us a good amount, but we ended up chipping in,
going above and beyond. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this back in my bag. That's just one pocket. I'm not gonna go through all the other pockets. It's too embarrassing. Oh no! Hold on. Splenda. I'm surely.
It's a explosion over there.
Surely I'm not the only one who carries around Splenda.
That's like an extra pound of Splenda. That's quite a bit.
It's a little
kind of light.
It's a little much, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little. I had Post-its in there too, and a pen.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. That's
here's the irony, though.
Square Post-its are the bomb. I mean, that's what I use for any and all kind of note taking.
When I'm traveling, that was weird. When I'm traveling, most of my this bag spends most of its life under the seat in front of me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mine too.
So I generally don't pull anything out of the bag other than the initial
I'm surprised
stuff.
that Ghirardelli thing is still square, to be honest with you, because it's hot on that
This is a sturdy
floor.
bag. This is a Toomey. It's a Toomey. It's a great bag. It's a great bag. This is my lifesaver right here. This little thing, and this is not Toomey. This is from one of those Swiss bags. Mm-hmm. This those backpack things. I still have it. I don't use that one. This little pouch thing, I put all the stuff in this. Most of the stuff that I absolutely need to have on a flight goes in this bag. This is just backstock.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, in here,
backstock,
you will find more Splenda.
Yes, of course you will. How have you not gotten a kidney stone?
You will find
oh, that's Splenda.
Imodium.
Imodium, yeah, yes. Okay.
You'll find more tea.
Yeah, I've got ibuprofen in my bag.
Charging cables, of course. Adapters of all sorts. Some hulls. Some of these little like ginger peppermint things in case my tummy doesn't feel nice. My AirPods,
almost guaranteed on flights.
A screen cleaner, which I don't use apparently, and a couple other things.
Yeah. Cool.
And there you have it.
Well stocked, the Splenda Traveler.
Yes. And my Toomey bag I got this in Vegas when I was there several years ago. I got my carry-on and this bag too, and I don't know, it was like $15 or something, and they put you want your initials in this? We can put like your initials in like this little leather thing. So I thought, oh yeah, let's do that. I swear to you, like I get more looks for that than anything else. I think people roll their eyes at me. I think people looking at me longingly. Like I don't know, just having like he has his initials on his bag. So he thinks he's somebody.
Yeah, because there's two possibilities: you think you're somebody, or you are somebody.
Right, and it's definitely not the latter.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. I just think it looks cool. Like, okay.
Differentiate your bag.
Well, I'm not checking bags.
Well, no, but
I'm not crazy.
Just in case. But,
who checks bags anymore?
I'll check mine because I was taking hiking poles and and an extra pack, and I took a bunch of junk out there just for the hike, so I needed to check a bag this time.
Check bag.
Check a bag.
So go ahead. You go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you go ahead first because mine is kind of a elongated thing.
Oh no!
Because it's the new thing
somewhat of a wrap-up thing. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you whether you're going to talk about that.
Yes, we are. We've got a new that for those of you who have listened this long. Congratulations. We are
this episode or in general, like the whole.
This episode. Because we're starting this kind of late in the episode, but that's all right. Because we got a thing that we're doing now. It's a little segment that I'm going to call PR's P's and Q's. That'd be Blossom Rob's P's and Q's.
Was our acronym generating machine broken or something? What was?
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking up synonyms for etiquette, and P's and Q's was on there, and that just made me giggle. So that's what we're calling it now. Minding your
P's and Q's. Yes.
So it's accidentally derivatives, P's and Q's, and basically what we want you get, because as you have noticed from this episode itself, is that we talk a lot about social situations and what if you find yourself in an awkward social situation, you don't know what to do, we have the answer for you, and we invite you. Or at least
for us.
No, it's the answer for you, and if you follow our advice, you will do much better.
Don't say that. No.
It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed.
No. Caveat.
So we invite you to write into us with your situation that you found yourself in. If you want some advice from Jason and myself about what you need to do in that situation, then you write to accidentallyderivative@gmail.com. It's on the screen right now. And we have our first one. We have our inaugural one here. Provided to us by the lovely Emily. And she says...
Emily. Do I know her?
Indeed. No, you just know my Emily.
Okay.
Yes.
She doesn't listen anyway. It's fine.
Yeah. She caught up when she went on her road trip, apparently. So
oh, no.
all the things I've been talking to about her, she knows about now. Oh, well, it was nice while it lasted. Anyway.
No wonder she didn't go to the Grand Canyon.
So she writes, in fact, this was her idea, and this was a really good idea. But she writes, I'd like to get your advice. A guy at my very small gym apparently doesn't wear deodorant, and he stinks. He builds up a layer of funk lifting weights and then parks it right next to me on the elliptical machine to get his real sweat on. The first time I tried to hang on so he didn't think that I was leaving because of him, but the second time I walked out after one whiff. He has now run me out of the gym twice. Do I say something? Do I stick it out and be polite? Drop a hint somehow? Thanks for your help.
So he'll say something. He doesn't care enough. He knows.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Care to know. No,
you get these people. Well, I don't know. You have those people that are like,
what are you gonna say?
My diet and my holistic medicine and homeopathic whatever has made it to where I don't need deodorant.
Well, maybe he just
they're
sweats
always
through it. Maybe
incorrect.
he has such a sweaty problem that he just like pours through it.
It must be,
literally,
but I mean,
and figuratively.
Clearly, he doesn't have somebody else to maybe tell him that this is happening, like a wife or a friend or a roommate.
He's not naked. He takes his clothes off and he can smell. Like when I come home from a walk,
but I don't know.
I know what I smell. I'm like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very aware of how I smell, but I'm like so obsessed with being as inoffensive as possible that I don't know if that's necessarily just my own neuroses or is that something
I have some follow-up questions. I don't know whether you can answer these or not, but like this situation, I mean, is there only two pieces of equipment in play? Like she can't be on a different thing?
Specifically that there are 3 elliptical machines. Now they're all next to each other. But in this case, she always picks one on the side. So
he'll get the middle.
2, but he comes and gets on the middle one. The middle one.
So I have 2 suggestions. Okay, one she'll probably reject wholly, but this is the one that I think would work.
Just yell, "Oh my God, you stink!"
No, is to bring with her just like a strip of like a little bit of like it has to stick a little bit, but a little bit of like out of order tape or caution tape or something like that, right? And so she should whatever one the center one is the one she has to cast out of order. So all she has to do is put that tape across the middle one before she gets onto the one she's going to get on, and then she's home free because even the employees won't know better. Now, unless this place is so small that everyone knows everything. She totally could get away with that.
Now, here's hoping his sort of pigpen funk cloud doesn't extend beyond,
the other machine,
another machine. Entirely possible, and God knows where like ventilation vents are and might blow it in her direction. I definitely respect that idea. That's very good. I tell you another one that might be a good hint, but doesn't necessarily have to be as offensive as like. Oh no. Coughing and wheezing or whatever, is that
mint?
Is that no? like when he comes up and starts running, you kind of stop and you pull out of your bag like 5 of those Christmas tree air fresheners that hang them on your.
Oh, like a ceremony. Like you're like burn some sage around.
There you go. Yeah,
or
like fire up some incense and. And start doing
exorcist over here, please. Okay, so the thing that I would do almost certainly,
Plan B. What was that?
Certainly, this would be what I do. Would be I would alter my schedule. I would just go to. I would totally like if she's running into him all the time. He's probably on the same schedule, and so she's got to pick earlier or later. She's just got to just change schedule.
That really is the only way to do this,
or leave the club. I mean, you don't want to do that. Like just
no. I mean, it is like right down the street, and it's easy to get to. But
I would just change up the routine.
That if that
it sucks that you have to do it, but it's worth it.
Because you have other options to take care of this, but they're all things that you don't want to do. Like tell the guy, dude, you smell so bad, you got to stop.
No, because what happens if he legit has a problem and he's like, yeah, I know, I have this issue. Like there's this medicine I take and I just can't do anything. But thank you for saying something. I'll try harder. Like then you're gonna feel horrible. You're gonna be like, oh my god, now I'm friends with the sweaty guy. Yeah. Like now he's
opened up to me. Now I got to smell him more now. Yeah.
Right. He's gonna want to talk. Say, hey, you doing? Like, no, but
congratulations. Here's your reward.
Right.
Here's more of this.
You don't want that. You could go to management, but then what are they going to do?
See, that's one I don't, because I'd feel like such a tattletale or whatever.
I mean, you could put a sticky note on his locker, but it's the wrong room. It's like the men's room. You'd have to like befriend another guy to be like, hey, do me a favor. Can you?
And this honestly isn't one of those.
You could follow him out to his car. You could follow his find out what car he drives and put a little note on his windshield. Like, hey, buddy, I think you're great, you're a nice guy, but you stink. Yeah, you gotta get into deodorant. Whatever it is you're doing that makes you think that you don't need deodorant. None of that feels like incorrect. None of that feels gracious though. Like I think you have to. Yeah. I think you have to. I think you just need to be you need to give way here. Yeah. I definitely think you're right. He's got a tough enough life as it is, and he may not even know it. Yeah, is it a tough life if you don't know that you have a tough life? I think because he doesn't realize like the opportunities not getting because he stinks. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's sad. Emily's a nice person to talk to, and he's gonna. I mean, so I've heard, and he could be having nice conversations while they're on the little treadmill things and stuff, and learn all about the things that she's doing and stuff, but he doesn't get to learn all these things because he's stinky. Yeah. And that this is happening to him across his entire lifespan. Yeah. Yeah. And that's Don't be Stinky Pete. But I think she has to, I think she has to just alter her schedule. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I still go for the tree air freshener thing. I mean, you could also go with the thing that works for the coroners. I mean, you just put some little Vicks vapor rub in your nostrils, like you pull it out when he comes up and just like. No, I'm telling you, like if you just get, like a little jar of it, with a little Q-tip, Oh, I know, and you have to make a big deal out of it. Well, this is just the thing I do. Well, isn't it weird too? Because Vicks VapoRub also opens up your sinuses. That's kind of strange, isn't it? It's a very, very strong smell, so I get that. But it also makes sure that more of it goes into your. She may find that she has better cardio function with that. Like she'll be like, "Wow, could be." All of a sudden, you cracked the code on this cardio thing. I've got more energy. Yes, who needs his little nose strips? That has got like Vicks. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's your answer. I think you got many good options there. Maybe two of which you could actually be willing to use. Only two of them don't make you look like a crazy person. I mean, if that's not your thing, I mean, I think it's a legitimate response to something like this is act like you're absolutely insane, be more of a distraction than that guy, and get him to change his schedule. Mm-hmm. So I have an idea also. Okay. So I love this. I love this whole thing, this new thing, and give me the email address one more time. So it's accidentallyderivative@gmail.com. Okay. They have to spell it right. Did you also get the various variations of accidentally derivative? I did not. No. Come on. There's too many of them. I'm in 40 freaking email addresses. One C, one L, two C's, one L. I ask you to spell the words correctly. I don't think that's too much to ask. And spell them separately so that your browser will catch each one individually. And then when both of them are spelled right, you can just take the space out of the middle. Or you can put a little line in between, and in Gmail that works. It doesn't. It
That's
recognizes.
true.
Or not a line. I'm sorry, not a line. A period. You can put a period. So it could be accidentally dot derivative at gmail.com, and that also you could do accidentally, like a period.
And you're worried people don't know how to spell it just on its own. You're just putting
accident. If you know how to spell accident, period.
Alley.
Yeah. Accident alley. That's what we are.
That's true. Hi, I'm Accident Alley.
I was in the original Toy Story, but I got cut out. They called me Accident Alley, and I was a great character.
I was the public safety mascot for car crashes. Don't want Accident Alley around here, kids. So put your seatbelt on and look both ways before you advance from a stop sign.
Oh no!
Here comes Accident Alley. 4 dead. Oh, Accident Alley. Wonk, wonk.